Hello, we are Nicaragua News. This is a news informative proposed by communication student the UCC, the Nicaragua Today World. Arturo Cruz have analyzed recently a report to the topic of Nicaragua with Colombia.
This is to make a support of Nicaraguan youth that give you the UCC University. Now we're going to start. We're going to start speaking of Bayardo Arce. Do you know Bayardo Arce?
Yes, I do, of course. He's one of the top advisors to the president and a man of great skills and intellectual capacity.
Okay. The question is about speaking the economic advisor, the current of the government recently said that the public administration is good because the monetary fund the student. What do you think about that? He said that we are very good.
Well,
And the former patron of Nicaragua, he supported that. What do you think that?
well, the IMF, as you know, is a very is a financial institution that is very demanding in terms of economic programs in the part of developing countries like that of Nicaragua. Now, we have had a program with the IMF for the past few years in which the IMF has been very involved in terms of the management of the macro economy. What the IMF has said recently is that Nicaragua does not need to have a program anymore, that they have great confidence in the skills and the capacity of the government to manage the framework of macroeconomic stability. And also the IMF basically is saying, let's not have a program anymore. We will have what we would usually do with member countries, and that is that every year we will come and do have an Article 4 type of mission in which we will more or less keep the dialogue open. So to a large extent, the fact that the IMF is saying to Nicaraguans, we no longer require a program with you, is an indicator of confidence with the capacity of the government to take advantage, to make sure that macroeconomic stability remains.
And in your opinion, what is the basis to the FMA give it to us?
Well, I think that, look, this is interesting because you have to realize that the Sandinistas come supposedly from the left. So there was a great deal of skepticism that the Sandinistas were going to manage the economy with responsibility. However, they have proven to be incredibly responsible. To the point that one could argue that sometimes they remind you of a neoliberal government rather than a leftist government. Yeah? So what I'm pointing out to you is that the IMF is basically saying this is a government that does not require supervision in the way that the program requires it.
About the Canal Project International of Nicaragua, what's your opinion?
The canal,
The Canal Project.
hopefully it will happen. I think it's still something very premature, but if it happens, we are talking about an investment which is 4 times bigger than the GNP of the country. That would be, to my mind, something which is required to make Nicaragua grow at levels that, if it wasn't because of that project, we would never achieve. Again, I'm still skeptical, but not as much as I used to be.
Do you agree that Nicaragua should appeal to the International Court of Justice to delimit the border with Colombia?
Yes, of course. We have no choice. Just look at the relationship between Colombia and Nicaragua from the point of view of military strength. The Colombians assign to military spending every year $10 billion. Nicaragua assigns to military spending $55 million. The relationship is between 200 to 1. To think that we could do something else besides going to the International Court of Justice, it will be madness. From the point of view of military strength, the relationship in terms of spending is 200 to 1. So without a doubt, Nicaragua has to appeal to the law of the nations, not to strength. Now, the great paradox in all of this is that now Nicaragua has a sentence that favors the country, but the Colombians have the ships, the warships.
To make a more profundation about this topic, what do you think about the diplomatic position of Nicaragua and the border of dispute with Colombia exactly in that paragraph during the most recently United States of General Assembly?
Well, I think that Colombia pretended more or less to isolate Nicaragua at the United Nations by having Jamaica and Panama be part of a common front. But it didn't work like that. I mean, Jamaica never said anything, and Panama, basically, its foreign ministers took a much more conciliatory position in practice than the speech by the president. Now, Colombia didn't say anything about the issue. It left Costa Rica alone. So to my mind, the Costa Rican diplomacy must be very upset by being, to a large extent, pushed by Colombia and then being left alone by Colombia.
Thank you for President. Thank you to you,
Thank
Mr.
you.
Cruz. That was Denis Abarca to Nicaragua News.
This was Nicaragua News. Thank you for your attention. I see you in the new edition.